Hello everybody and welcome to the CodeEd tutorial on C++ strings. Let's start out by opening up Xcode and creating a new Xcode project. Make sure that command line tool is selected under the Mac OS tab. Go ahead and click Next. We will call this program String Functions. Make sure that C++ is the selected language. Click Next. Decide where to save it and click Create. Once you get to the screen, go ahead and open up the main.cpp file and delete the starter code. Recall that our first lines are always #include iostream and using namespace std semicolon. It's important to note that Xcode does not require it, but in many compilers you will also need to #include the string library. And that's because strings have a whole other set of functions that we will be exploring in this video, and some compilers just need that extra push to tell them where to find it. In the int main function, let's start out by adding 3 string variables that we can work with later on. So string first name, string last name, and string full name. Now, it's a good coding practice to separate your strings like this. However, some coding practices call for single line declaration, which would basically be you can declare variables in the same line as long as you do not initialize those with actual values. That's throwing an error right now because we have 2 variables called the same thing. But just to keep it neat, we will keep each variable on separate lines. We can go ahead and start out by creating a simple cout cin stream with the user. So let's say we want to save the user's first name. We can cout. Let's say, what is your first name? And then we can cin, so that's console input, to first name. Now, let's run that. You will see, once that pops up, that actually here we go. You will see that once you type your first name and click enter, there will actually be an end line character automatically added at the end of your cin statement. Hence why program ended with exit code 0 is on its own line. So that's important to note that you don't have to first cout another end-line statement. So let's go ahead and save the last name as well. Okay, and then let's start out with our first string property. So it is called string addition. You can add strings by simply writing the first string, a plus symbol, and then another string, and you could do that as many times as you want. So in this case, we will create the full name by adding the first name, a space, and then the last name. So let's say we wanted to cout their name just to confirm, hello, in quotes, hello, full name. And we press run. Now you can type in your full name, and it should output, hello, your full name. Okay, So now let's move on to the next string function, and that would actually be get the length of a string. So you can do this by just running the name of the string, so full name dot length in parentheses. Now this dot length actually means that length is a function of the string library, and it knows to find that length function from the string library because full name is a string, so it will then go up here and find the length function. You'll see that it's throwing a warning, and that's basically just because of implicit conversion loss, and all we have to do there is cast the full name dot length as an integer to match that up with the same data type as our variable. So now we can say cout name length and len followed by an end line. Let's just clean that up. Okay, so now if you run your program again, you will notice that the string length for my name is 12. Meanwhile, Jared is only 5 characters and Miller is 6 characters, meaning that it includes the space in the middle of the string. And that's important to note that every special character and regular character and number count as their own space in the string length. Okay, so now that we've worked with that, let's work on getting a specific letter in a string. So what will that look like? That will look like this. We can type out cout and then full name, and then in square brackets this time, the number 0. And then end line, and just to make sure we're keeping track of that, let's add in a string that just says full name and 0 equals. Okay, so you might be wondering why I wrote 0 instead of 1. And this is actually a property of strings where it's called 0 index. That means that the first index in your string, so in the string Jared Miller, the letter J is actually at index 0 instead of index 1. And then the letter A will be at index 1, R will be at 2, E will be at 3, and so on, all the way to the last character, R, which will be 1 minus the string length, because this string is 12 characters, but if you start counting them at J being 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 is R, and not 12. So we can actually go through, and just so you can see that, let's go ahead and copy a few of these. 1, 2, 3, actually let's go 11. 1, 2, and 11. And then let's also do one more at space 12, which is the length of the string, but not included in the string itself. So if we run that, and type out Jared Miller, you will see that there is nothing printed under the index of 12, and that's because you haven't said that any letter should go in space 12. If we go ahead and add on another string to full name, maybe surname, then there would be something in space 12 and you could use it. However, for now, it's left blank. There's one other thing that actually, before we get there, let's talk about setting a specific character. Okay, so let's say you wanted to set a specific character. You can actually do that the same way as you retrieved a specific character. So let's say we wanted to change the space in the middle of the string to a dash. That would be index 5, and all you would have to do is the same syntax as getting to find that character in the string, and then assign a dash in single quotation marks to that. Pretty much, the single quotation marks means that it's a car, also known as char, depending on how you say it, character, and that is just the data type that's required in order to set a specific spot in a string. In a later video, we can get into the depths of why that's required, but that's too complex for right now. So then, if we go ahead and type out new name, full name, and end line, you will see that Jared Miller goes from having a space in the middle to having a dash in the middle. And that is how you get and set specific characters. One other thing that I want to touch on before we go, let's comment out the rest of our code for now, just so that we can have a new place to work. And let's talk about the differences between integer addition and string addition. In integer addition, you can type int a equals 14 and int b equals 16. And when you see out a plus b, you can expect to get 30. However, in string addition, it isn't quite the same. So let's say we did string c equals 14 and string d equals 16. And then you see out c plus d. Let's throw that in quotes. C plus d equals c plus d with an end line. You'll notice a key difference here. And that's that a plus b are integers and equal 30. But string addition does not actually compute the math. All it does is concatenate the second number, or the second value of a string, which is d is 16, to the end of c, which is 14. It's important to note that that goes against intuition a little bit, but it's not necessarily something that you could do. Okay, thank you for watching. Next time we will dive deeper into C++ coding on your next Coded tutorial, and I'll see you then.